Okay guys, so let's continue with this example. So in this lecture we will see about the how to pass the arguments. We know what is argument, right? So how to pass them and how to use it, and also we will see that how to return the value. So let's start. So here we have a global declaration. I am just removing this because when we pass the parameters, and if we have a return value, we don't need to declare the variable globally. We can use them out of scope by passing them. So okay, so what we can do, here I have NO1 and NO2, right? So here we can pass them NO1 and NO2, calling and passing arguments, right? So when we pass the argument, of course in the declaration we need to mention that we are passing the arguments, but we don't need to write the name of the variable. Simply you can write the data type of both the arguments. So here we are passing two integer values, and so we have mentioned two integer parameters, right? And here we are passing it. Now definition section. So here we need to catch that past variables, past arguments. So here in the definition we need to write data type along with the variable name, and here it would be better that we take different names. Like here I am taking A and integer B. So what will happen when we will pass this NO1 and NO2 to this function, the value of NO1 and NO2 will be catched by A and B respectively, right? So whatever I will have in NO1, it will be stored in A, and whatever will be there in NO2 will be stored in B, right? So this way we can pass the argument. Here they are catching arguments, right? So and this we call the how to pass the arguments. Now means here when we are performing the addition operation, so instead of NO1 I need to write A, and instead of NO2 I need to write B, right? So this way we can perform the operation. Now if I say that A and S we have declared over here, right? But we are not using in the main function. If you notice that in this whole scope we have not used ANS. So better is, let's remove it from this place and let's declare it in this function. So integer ANS, right? So now the program is something like this, that we have two integer variables, one function in which we are passing two integer values, then we are taking two values from the user, and these two values we are passing through the function, right, to the function. So when the compiler will catch this line sum NO1 NO2, it will jump to this location and it will execute this function, right? So let's save and compile and check what happens. Okay, let's run it. Perfect, right? So this way we can pass the parameters. Now after passing the arguments, now let's check how to return the value. So what we did, here we have taken integer ANS. Here we are printing the answer. Here we are printing the output in the function only. But suppose I want to print in a main function. In that case, what I need to do, I want this printf statement over here, right? Means now what will happen, when this function will be called, it will jump over here, it will perform the operation a plus b, and after performing the operation it will return the answer. Whatever the value will have in the ans will be returned. But when we say that this function is returning something, so what it is returning? ans. And what is the data type of ans? It's an integer. So instead of void we need to write int. So int is the return data type of this function sum. So of course we need to change in the declaration part as well, right? Okay, but one more thing, declaration is fine, then definition is fine. What about this place? Sum no1 no2 we want to print, right? Means this function is returning something. Means what? That when the compiler will catch this line, it will jump to this place, it will perform the operation ans, but this ans will, and this block, this compilation will go back to this place. But because this function is returning something, so when it will come with the some value, we need to store that value somewhere, right? And where we can store it, like add is the variable. Suppose, okay, let me take ans because we have already declared in sum. Now let's check that does it allow to declare the same name in different blocks. So here I am taking ans, so of course I need to declare it again because I'm using it out of scope, right? So let's see what happens. Let's compile it. Okay, no error. It means what? That in two different blocks we can declare same name variable. Okay, let's run it. Perfect. 12, right? So it is working perfectly fine. Also, one thing we can do, like instead of assigning the value, or we can do this thing like we can write this function over here as well. So in that case we don't need to declare the variable, right? So now what will happen, compiler will execute this printf statement, but when it is compiling this statement, it will come across this function. So from here only it will jump to the this location, right? This place, it will execute this place, it will, and then when ans will be returned, so here the value will come, but where it will be printed, it will be printed at the place of the %d. Means this %d will come from this function, and because this function is returning some value, we can write the function this way as well, right? So let's check. 2 errors, function call missing. Okay, no errors. Let's run it. Perfect, right? So this way also we can work. So you can try this methods, this features with other examples as well.